welcome back to Florian's weather coverage. Today we have some storms up in the northeast. So let's get right into it and take a look at right now's mesoanalysis. This is showing us precipitation, but not just what's falling, but also where stuff is falling, but also what is falling. As you can see, we have a lot of snow across the entire northeast, some rain over in Ohio, Kentucky, but what we're noticing here is the beginning stages of what will be sort of a moderate snowstorm, mostly for the interior northeast, then some rain along the coastline. This will also be accompanied by some gusty winds. As we can see right now, the National Weather Service has a few advisories, watches, warnings out. In this bluish purple color, we have winter weather advisories. That's for snow typically under 6 to 8 inches. Then we have the winter storm warnings here. That's for snow that will be very impactful. We're talking like 8 to 12 inches in those areas. And then down here in the higher elevations of West Virginia, we do have some blizzard warnings. That's for the gusty wind and snow combination. But towards the coast, we can see we have the high wind advisories. That's because we'll be seeing sustained winds in the high 20s with gusts into the high 40s and low 50s, which we'll look at. And as you can see, as I showed you earlier, we do have some snow falling. This is in Woodburn, New York, which is this little dot right here. As you can see, we sort of have had this problem where the radar shows some snow, but it doesn't actually reach the surface because of dry air at the surface. But as you can see, clear as day, snow is falling. And let's take a look at what's the HRRR. This is one of the models we use for short-term predictions. As you can see, we have, it actually doesn't really develop this band around New York. So the HRRR is a little bit behind. There is some snow that it isn't showing. Could be a hint at maybe some overperformance in the Hudson Valley in terms of snowfall accumulations. But what we can see, the general gist here is our storm system will quickly evolve later tonight as we have some warm air advection. Essentially, basically, what you just need to know is as the low pressure system gets a little stronger, we'll get more precipitation start falling. And as you can see, inland, we're going to see a lot more snow. And then towards the coast, we're going to see rain. This is because the oceans are still warm, which keep the coast warm, therefore not allowing the snow to make it all the way to the surface before melting. And then in the early hours of the morning, we could potentially see some wet snow make it to the coast, maybe New York City, coastal areas of New Jersey and Connecticut. But we will almost certainly have no accumulations of snow. It'll just be a wet and cold morning for those areas. And then inland, we're going to see some snow, and then the temperatures will be sitting right around 32 degrees for a lot of the lower elevations of Massachusetts and Connecticut. So unlikely we'll see significant accumulations there, but further inland, especially in the higher elevations, we'll see. And then as we can see, as the system moves out, the lake effect machine is going to be turned on again, and some isolated areas near the lakes and slightly inward of the lakes will see snow accumulations again. Let's look at what the NAM model says. So the NAM, as we can see, there's a very good consensus. Again, rain, basically the same thing we just saw with some slight differences that aren't really noticeable at all. Rain near the coasts and then snow inland, and then that lake effect machine gets turned on again. So this is what the National Weather Service is calling for in terms of snowfall accumulations by Friday afternoon. As you can see near the coast, we have none, and then in these inward, just slightly inland areas, we're looking about 1 inch, which will quickly melt given higher temperatures Thursday. But it's really these high elevations in New York, these high elevations down here in Pennsylvania and up in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine that will see significant accumulations getting closer to 6, 7, 8 inches. And then near the lakes, you can see there's going to be one band right here, and then these bands down here. That will certainly lead to accumulations going well into the double digits. Bad conditions there. Again, I know you guys just had the same thing. Remember, don't drive on the roads. There will likely be road warnings in effect. You need to listen to those because it's really dangerous. You can get stranded out there. As you can see, like even more accumulations, maybe into the 20s down in the north western portion of Pennsylvania. In terms of wind gusts, what we'll be looking at. So some gusts tonight. We're going to see maybe gusts in the 20s to 30s along the coastlines. But when it really comes in, you'll see moving through Pennsylvania. We have a cold front will be moving through. And early in the morning, you'll see down here the cold front's going to pass through the tri-state area. And then behind that, we're going to be seeing the gusts in the high 30s and the 40s and 50s in the higher elevations and out to sea. With freezing temperatures and stuff, this could certainly lead to power outages. Have your generator ready, have like a backup plan for power outages, especially if you live in higher elevations where you're also going to have the effects of snow. You'll definitely have sporadic power outages there. The NAM model agrees. And the winds will sustain well into Friday morning. You're probably going to see cold wind chills. Very cold wind chills. Friday probably into the negatives. You can actually take a look. Friday morning you'll be seeing wind chills in the teens and the single digits all across the entire Northeast. Even towards the coast, you're going to be seeing in the teens. So it's certainly something to watch out for there. Just talked about that. And then, so looking forward into the future. So as you can see, we have this shows us temperature anomaly. So what the temperature is doing compared to normal. This is Friday into Saturday. We'll have those cold temperatures move through. Then we'll have a temporary warm up. Early next week, we'll see some warmer temperatures, maybe above freezing for the interior areas and into the 50s along the coast. And then after that, as we know, the weather's very fluid, and this is very far out to talk about in detail, but it looks like we could have another cool down. This is ensemble modeling, so it basically takes 50 models, puts it together, and takes the average, so it's a little more reliable in the distant range. So definitely hints that we could see another cool down later next week into next weekend, so in 10 to 12 days. As we can see, here's our system moving through. We could have some rain move through Tuesday. That the warm front would bring up the warmer temperatures. You see that low pressure system right near Michigan. You have the warm front sort of stretching west of that. East of that. That would bring the warmer temperatures up. And then we could have another system to watch. As that colder air moves back in, we should be monitoring for potential snow across the Northeast again. With any storm systems that move through, you can see here, we got that system moving through. Now this basically, the blue and the greens are sort of just indicators of potential for unsettled weather. And colder temperatures too, and we can see the little blue blob moves through. That could be an indicator of potential storms down the road. Thank you for watching. I'll update you guys in a few days on any developments in the longer range and see if anything interesting pops up again. Thank you all for watching.